ladies and gentlemen. I hope I met you well. Well, we've come again about what you know that we do, our research on the backgrounds of Africans, what Africans have passed through, and some history that people are, writing in negative way. We had to correct it. That's what we do here. Now, I want to say this. I was on a live video with some group of people, and I met one guy. He was saying that African are the most dangerous people on earth. I was like, hey man, do you know what you're saying? Like, are you thinking at all? How can you say that? He said, because he has read it in previous book. I said, who are those that wrote those books? Who are the one that wrote those books? He told me that it was a white man like that. I was like, that book was made to believe to you because they know that they will, the best way to capture us is to write something in the book. And don't forget, a white man said something in the past that if you want to keep something for an African, keep it inside the book. They'll never find it. Now, they know that that book is the one that we are looking at now. So we found things there. So then, since they realize that we go deep into the books and they realize to be writing lies in the book. So I try to explain to him. So to cut the long story short, this man, I explained some things to him and asked him that, has he ever heard that Africa has a nuclear bomb? He said no. But can he tell me there is no white continent that do not have a nuclear bomb? He said yes. So how can he tell me that Africans are cruel? So now, because I realized that people don't really know much about Africans. Like, we were just reading books that are made to believe, like, we will be seen as forefathers and our past heroes as cruel. Like, and it's not true. So that is what makes me want to tell you a story about a black woman who was experimental on gynecological. Listen, this is a story. Anacha was a black teenage girl enslaved in Alabama. She became one of the most experimented on people in US history. Cut open more than 30 times without anesthesia. Can you hear that? It was cut open without anesthesia. There was no pain relief, there was nothing. Like, why? To develop surgery for a condition that white women were beginning to experience. Listen, let me tell you in details. This is her story. Anacha was a young girl whose pain helped build a medical field that erased her. Her body was used to develop treatments that could go on, help white women and the rest of the world wide. She was left behind in history. People never talked about her. People never acknowledged her. And people never think about her. She was a victim of exploitation. And she is the foundations of modern gynecology. After a long and traumatic labor, Anacha developed vaginal and rectal festus tears between the birth canal and her bladder and rectum. This caused constant leakage of urine and feces, leaving her in pain, ashamed and isolated. Sims saw her condition not as a tragedy, but as an opportunity. He believed she was the perfect subject to test surgical procedures. He hoped to one day use on white women. He hoped to one day use this practice on white women. But Sims wasn't trying to heal Anacha for her own sake. He was trying to cure fistulas because white women were experiencing them too. Now, he used Anacha to test and refine his techniques without her consent and without pain relief. Sims refused to give her anesthesia. claiming black people didn't feel pain like white people. Can you hear that? Like, seem think that black people don't used to feel pain like white people. He operated while she was fully awake and restrained. She cried out in agony. Anacha cried out in agony. He recorded her reactions, but didn't stop. Sims recorded Anacha's reactions and he did not stop operating. Once he perfected the surgery on Anacha, Sims began treating white women, this time with anesthesia and care. He operated Anacha without anesthesia and care, but now he has opened his own hospital, he operated them with anesthesia and care. They got the benefits. Anacha was discarded. Her pain built a legacy she would never be credited for. Anacha wasn't alone. Two other enslaved women, Lucy and Betsy, were also operated on without anesthesia. Lucy nearly died from infection. Lucy was nearly died from infection. Sims used them over and over, turning their bodies into test sites for procedures that white women would later rely on. Sims became known as the father of modern gynecology. He opened the first women's hospital in the US, received international praise, and had a statue built in his honor. Meanwhile, Anacha, Lucy, and Betsy were never named, never thanked, and never honored. For more than a century, they were left out of history. Their names weren't in medical textbooks. Their suffering was hidden behind Sim's success. The pains of black women was used, but never acknowledged. Today, that's changing. In 2021, artist Michelle Brother unveiled a monument in Montgomery, Alabama, honoring Anacha, Lucy, and Betsy, calling them the mothers of gynecology. It stands near the place where they were experimented on. That was the only time that we remember them and know about them. If not for the artist Michelle Brother, no one would have heard or know anything about Lucy, Betsy, and Anacha. Now listen, the benefits that white people are gaining these days are because of the suffering of the black people in the past. Now, I want to tell you, never think that black people are mean. White people are also mean. Black are not that mean. Whites, there are some whites who have human feelings, but a lot of white people are the most cruelty people on earth. I didn't say we are not good. I did not say they are bad also, but there are some of them who are also bad. Please don't misjudge me. What I'm trying to say in essence is that if you read any book that's justifying Africans being mean or being cruel or being doing something bad to our people, remember they took them hostage and there is nothing they can do to save themselves. That is the reason they go through that procedure, and that is the reason their names were labeled of being bad people and do this and that. The benefit that the white people are, enjoying today was the suffering of the black people in the past. Listen, my friends, if you are listening to this, know that being black is an honor. You were not a bad person. And your forefathers' sufferings brings these white people the honor and the integrity, the things that they are hitting today, the benefits of the things that they are enjoying in these days. It's from the past sufferings of the white. Please subscribe to this channel for more history of Africans. Do not say African is bad and say no to racism. God bless you.